Hi guys, Darth Deuces here with another Mezco 1/12 collective figure review. And today we're going to take a look at the PX Previews exclusive 1/12 collective 1/12 scale Black Adam figure. You can see my reflection in there from the packaging here, because the packaging is actually a tin for a lot of these exclusives. They actually put them in a metal tin as opposed to the normal cardboard, which is pretty cool. So yeah, let's take a look at here. Obviously, you got the PX Previews exclusive sticker there. You've got MezcoToys.com, 1/12 Collective, DC logo, and the Black Adam logo. On the bottom here, you got Black Adam written, 1/12 Collective there. You can't really see it with my hand, but Mezco.com, Toys.com, Black Adam, and then on the back here, you have a more flat, matte, kind of just read up of the your overview of the figure. You get a cool image of Black Adam there. You get an image of all of his accessories and whatnot. So that's pretty much it for the packaging. So let's take a look at the actual figure. Alright, here we have Black Adam, and he is really, really cool. Black Adam's one of my favorite DC characters, so I'm a little biased here. But even just him standing here with the cape on, he just had a standing pose with the cape on. He looks really, really cool, and it helps with the just super quality of the figure. He looks fantastic. Though with looking fantastic, I do still have my issues with it, but they're not too bad for the most part. Let's take a closer look. I'm just going to remove the cape for this. And it just sits on his shoulders there. It's pretty good that way. And here we got Black Adam. So from what I understand, I do not have the Shazam or Captain Marvel figure, but Black Adam here, I believe, uses the exact same body. Just obviously his places where the skin is showing is repainted to make the figure look more accurate. There's some differences to the clothing, and he has a different head sculpt, obviously, but the base body, the boots, the cuffs are all the same. But that's fine, because they're both supposed to be pretty similar body types, because they're using the magic of the wizard, obviously. Here's taking a look at the head sculpt, and it just popped it off the ball joint, but it is a really good head sculpt. The sculpt in paint detail, it looks great. Definitely looks like Black Adam. The lips, the eyes, the eyebrows, all looks really good. The slicked back hair looks great. He does have the pointy ears, but they're not like super exaggerated, which I like, so that looks really good. So I like that a lot. Definitely one flaw with this figure, though, is this is the only head sculpt or portrait that he comes with. He does not come with any of the other alternate head sculpts. The Shazam figure came with 2 other head sculpts. Now, and I don't really need 3 head sculpts. The stern one's pretty good for Black Adam, and I'm pretty happy with this. But I would have really liked a sort of yelling or screaming head sculpt with the eyes whited out to kind of look like he's yelling Shazam or something. That would have been really good. I wish we had that, but we didn't. But it is what it is. The rest of the figure is honestly pretty simple but effective. You've got the black bodysuit, which is a really nice material, nice quality, nice and stretchy. So that's really good. You got the gold lightning bolt on the chest there. It looks good. You got his sash here. This is stitched together so it won't fall apart on you, which is good. You can kind of adjust it to where you want it on him. You got the gold gauntlets here. It look good. Got the hands here. It does come with a few sets of hands on here right now. I just got the open palm hands, but they're really nicely sculpted and painted. And you got the legs here, which are really good, and you got the boots that look really nice as well. Not much else to talk about, though, to be completely honest with you. One thing this figure does fix from the Shazam figure, from what I've seen, is on Shazam, his pants for some reason really, around the crotch area, really drooped down a bit, so it looks really weird. On this one, it's much more tighter, so it looks a lot better. So I like that a lot. Definitely makes the figure look more aesthetically pleasing. And just a really good looking figure. I like what they did for design wise. For the most part, he's his classic design, or classic costume, but the inclusion of the cape kind of adds a more modern aspect to him as well, so you kind of get an option to display him just, like this, or more modernized, I suppose. In terms of articulation, he's quite good. So you get the ball joint at the head and at the base of the neck, so he looks down all the way, looks up pretty decently. I maybe would have liked some slightly more. Not really. You can push the torso up, and you can get pivot, which is really nice as well. Ball joint to the shoulders, which move up a lot. They have a bit of in and out movement, though I would like maybe a little more. Rotation of the bicep. Double hinge of the elbows move really good, and you got the ball joint at the wrists, which can move either way depending on how you have the peg. Torso joint crunches forward, backwards pretty good, so that's good for getting flight poses, and doesn't really crunch forward too much, but that's okay. Ball joints the hips do the full splits, which is really good. Kicks forward all the way, kicks back a decent amount. Rotation, double joint at the knee moves all the way, which is really good. Does he have a swivel at the boot? Yeah, he does. It's kind of tight, but he does have a swivel at the boot. And you do have a ball joint at the ankle, so you get up movement, down movement, and a bit of pivot. Again, I would like me a bit more pivot, but it's still decent. You can get some pretty good poses out of him. So yeah, not doing the craziest job right now, but doing it really, really, really quick. Kind of, you can't get him looking cool. Again, didn't take much time to do that. You can get much better poses, obviously. I'm gonna straighten them out again just so we can talk about the accessories, which is probably the biggest letdown about this figure, which still comes with some cool stuff, but compared, this one's an exclusive, so generally speaking, it can go for more money. Shazam was not an exclusive, from what I know, and Shazam came with a lot more stuff. He came with he came with the addition of all the different head sculpts. He came with the little worm guy. I can't remember his name. Not the biggest expert on Captain Marvel. And he came with the Mr. Adam head. And this figure doesn't come with nearly as much stuff, which is unfortunate, to say the least. I do actually have the Bandai Tamashii yellow lightning effects coming in, so I can use it specifically for this figure because it really makes him look a lot better. So I'm going to be getting that, but it's unfortunate you have to spend more money on different companies' accessories to make it, I guess, look as good as it can be. But the stuff it does come with is decent, so obviously you get your display stand. It's just a black stand with a low black bolt there. You do get the articulated stand. You have a peg there as well if you like, so that's cool. And it's definitely well needed for if you want flight poses. Comes with 3 sets of hands. I've got one of the sets of hands on him already, which is the open hands. He also comes packed with punching hands. Obviously, it's pretty, this is needed. And he also comes with 2 open palm hands for flight poses. So you get the hands you pretty much need. You get the lightning bolt that came with Shazam. It's just in the yellow plastic instead of the blue, which looks good. And it is kind of confusing on how this is supposed to go on to the torso. So it's to go on this way, and these are supposed to go around his neck, kind of. So it's a little fiddly, but once you get it, you'll have to fiddle with it a bit to get the way you want it. But it's not too bad. You get it on there, kind of fool with it a little bit, maybe. It's not going to sit perfectly on him, unfortunately. But you get it on there, and then you can have him, calling down the power of the wizard, Shazam, and striking his chest there, which is really cool. I do really like that accessory. One thing I do wish they included is I kind of wish they had alternate hands or something to attach to his open hands to get sort of lightning shooting hands, because he can shoot lightning and whatnot. But what you can do is you can take this and you got to fool around with it a bit. You can kind of get him holding it in such a way. That's kind of... You can kind of get him holding it in such a way where you can kind of get it looking like he's shooting the lightning from his hand. It's not the greatest, and it's definitely not meant to do this, but you can, from certain angles, you can make it look pretty cool. So you can do that. I just kind of wish they had a specific accessory included for that. But yeah, you can do that, and it stays in his hand fine if you want to do that. Then obviously, like you saw at the beginning of the video, he also comes with his cloak, which is pretty cool. I do like this a lot. This is how I'm going to be displaying him with this on. But it's really nice, kind of like this fake leather material on the outside. You got the gold gilt or trimming on the edges, and then you got like this sort of different material on the inside. You got the real chain on the clasp there, which is really cool. And you do have a wire in this cape, but you get a wire all throughout the hood and then down to about here on the cape. And then the rest of it, there's no wire, which I don't really like. I mean, it lets you have some control over the cape, because right now I have the wires bent in such a way so it looks like it's draping around them more. Or if you have them all the way straight out, it's going to shoot the cape out. So, and using the wire, you can get the hood the way you want it, but instead they include that really stupid looking sort of wires you add to the flight stand, and so you can clip it to the cape and have it spread out the way you want it. I really don't like that. It's fiddly. It doesn't look very good. It's a nice sort of attempt to try to get best of both worlds, to not have wires so you can get the natural sort of draping down, but also being able to implement wires for more dynamic poses. But it just doesn't really work how they wanted it to, I don't think. But you can just sit it right on Black Adam there, the cape. And again, you got to fiddle with it a while to get it to look good. But once you get it fiddled with it for a while, you can make it looking pretty damn cool. And I'm not doing it justice right now because I'm not trying to take up a ton of time. But it looks really, really cool. The hood, you might say, is a little big, but honestly, when you look at the comics, his hood in the comics is pretty big. And it doesn't look too stupid either. It's big in a good way, let's say. There we go. So that looks pretty cool. I really do enjoy that a lot. It looks really, really cool. So I'll do some quick size comparisons here. Probably take the cape off for that. That'd be a bit easier. So here he is with, I guess, another Mezco. Here he is with the Mezco Deadpool. He's slightly taller than Deadpool. I do think this Black Adam is on the slightly shorter side. I feel like he should be just a little bit bigger. Like he should be just a little slightly taller. But bulk-wise, he's not too bad. So there he is with Deadpool. And I'll do another Deadpool real quick. Here he is with the Marvel Legends. Juggernaut Wave Deadpool is on the Bucky cap, so I'd say that's pretty average. And she's about the same height, slightly taller than Deadpool. Here's the 6-inch figure. Here he is with the recent Cable, which is massive compared to Black Adam. I feel like Black Adam should be about the size of Cable, but it still it doesn't really bother me too much, to be completely honest with you. Then lastly, here he is with another 6-inch scale Black Adam here. Here's with the DC Icons Black Adam, and as you can see, the newer Mezco Black Adam is definitely bigger. He's a bit taller, and he's definitely bulkier. One of the main issues I had with this Black Adam was he was too short compared to other 6-inch figures, and he wasn't bulky enough compared to other 6-inch figures. Still not a bad figure by any means. I do still really enjoy this figure, but not as good as the Mezco one. But this guy did come with the effects, with the interchangeable hands with the lightning effects coming out of the fingers, so I did like that. And I like the new design, but I mean, this I think an inferior figure. So overall, Black Adam is a really cool. I don't think he's essential for your collection, though. It really depends. For me, Black Adam is one of my favorite DC characters, so I really wanted to get him. If you're not too fond on Black Adam, you're not too crazy on getting the Captain Marvel characters, then it's probably an easy pass. If you're a completionist, then it's definitely worth getting, obviously. And if you have Shazam, 100% recommend getting this guy because he'd look really good going up against Shazam in your collection. Anyways, that's my review of the Mezco 1/12 Collective Black Adam. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I will see you all in the next video.